I'm in what is currently the best urban car in the year, as voted for by the international jurors that make up the World Car of the Year jury, of which I am one. This is the BYD Dolphin Surf, which has just gone on sale in Europe. And where do you bring the best urban car in the world to drive it, but to one of the world's best cities? We're in Rome. Renowned for its ancient history, its historical landmarks, and its dreadful traffic congestion. Now, because we are in Rome, I really wanted to film this car in front of the Colosseum. But Manos behind the camera is a bit of a killjoy and he didn't want to get arrested this morning, which is why we've ended up here in a lay-by next to a moderately busy road with a backdrop of graffiti. So, you know what, we're working with it. So this is the 8th car that BYD has launched here in Europe in just 3 years, can you believe? And generally, we've been pretty impressed with the brand's cars. Now, given that BYD started life as a battery manufacturer and now produces pretty much everything on its cars itself, apart from the tyres and the wiper blades, they really do know what they're doing. Now, as I said at the start, this has already been named the 2025 World Urban Car of the Year at the World Car Awards.
The BYD Seagull Dolphin Mini.
So I'm hoping this is quite a positive review. Let's begin with a look, shall we? So the designer responsible for this car is Wolfgang Egger, who was designer at Audi. He designed cars like the wonderful R8, and he was also designer at Lamborghini. I've been looking for the Lambo references on the car because in China, where this is already on sale, it is apparently known as the baby Lambo. I haven't been able to see them. Manos is absolutely convinced that they are here at the front end around the lights and the kind of slightly tapered off nose. Do you see it yourself? Shall we be generous to him? Let us know what you think in the comments below if you can spot any Lamborghini influence on this car at all. Look, whether you can spot the Lambo references or not, it's not an unattractive car with its angled short bonnet and steep windscreen. At the back, it's got a spoiler to extend the roofline and help with aerodynamic efficiency, along with a full-width taillight bar, which I like. It's up against cars like the Dacia Spring, Leap Motors T03, Citroën EC3, and the top-of-the-range model will get compared with the entry-level Renault 5 or Hyundai Insta. It's not as small as I was expecting it to be. Out of that group, only the Citroën EC3 is slightly longer. But as always, design is so personal. So do your worst in the comments below. Do you love it or loathe it? Let us know. Now in China, this is BYD's cheapest EV. It costs around $10,000 and it's currently one of the best-selling electric cars in China. Now don't get too excited about that price because it's going to be pretty much double that when it goes on sale in the UK. We expect it to start at around £18,000. Now, where BYD always scores really highly is on all the kit and the technology that they throw at the whole range, even the entry-level cars. And when I spoke to Stella Lee, who is BYD's Executive Vice President, earlier this year, she said to me that this car was going to be the best value in its class. And that is what I'm really interested in. So let's have a poke around. What have we got? So the interior is actually relatively simple, which I quite like. You've got the oceany vibes here. There's sort of a bit of a wavy thing going on over there and waves down here. It's quite an attractive looking interior. It's got the party trick that other BYDs have. It has the rotating screen. You get that in all the models in the range. Quite nice, isn't it? Much smaller, of course, as you'd expect than the ones in its larger cars. And then you get a second smaller screen here in front of you, which has got all the basic information that you need. Now, I'm 5'4", and I suspect if you were a taller driver, you're going to be looking down quite a lot to that because it is really positioned right down low. I think it might be slightly better if it was a little bit higher for some people, but it works all right for me. So the tech runs on an Android system and you can program in shortcuts and you can also use like a gesture control as well, which you get in much bigger, more expensive cars usually. And it comes with both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Unlike the Leap T03, take note, said they were well spec'd, didn't I? Storage is also really good. There are apparently 20 storage areas dotted around the car. Could play a game of spot the storage. Probably not going to do that, but the door bins are good. Look, quite decent size. I've got my massive makeup bag and hairbrush in the door bin, no problems. Cup holders, you've got wireless charging, couple of USB ports down there, little storage area. There's a really nice blend of physical buttons here as well, which we always like to see, and you've also got controls on the steering wheel too. Now this gets a different name to the car that's sold in China. It also gets different levels of tech, I guess, to justify the hike in price. It gets all of this. And if you go for the top of the range comfort model, you also get all of this. I guess Stella Lee was true to her word when she said it would be the best value in glass.
The European cars also get more safety equipment to help in the stringent Euro NCAP safety tests. We don't expect it to get the full 5 stars. A little bird has told us it will come in somewhere around a 4, which is still very respectable. Now, we know that many of you will watch our videos on your smart TV, so we've started adding this QR code onto them. This will take you straight to the deeper dive review over at electrifying.com if you want to know more detailed information about exactly what safety kit it comes with or anything else about the car.
And because you only get 2 seat belts in the back, you're only going to get 2 passengers in here, aren't you? But you do get a couple of ISOFIX child seat points as well, 1 on each, which is good. It's taller than the Hyundai Insta, than the Dacia Spring, than the Citroen, and also the Leap TO3. So headroom is actually pretty good. The seat in front, that is set to Manos's driving position, who is 6'2". And because it's got a slightly longer wheelbase than both the Renault 5 and the forthcoming Nissan Micra, you actually get decent legroom here in the back as well. I think the thing is though, if you're after a smaller car at the more affordable end of the market, the Hyundai Insta is really hard to beat for that practicality, space and light in the back seats. It does feel a little bit dark in here. So boot space is 307 litres. You get 3 times as much, in fact more than 3 times as much if you put the seats down. They don't go completely flat, there is a little lip, but it's a decent load area. And then under here, which I love, is a subfloor. It's got all the charging cables in it, absolutely brilliant for keeping those in, keeping your wellies in if you're a dog walker like me and Nicola. So in terms of comparisons, it's not quite as big as the boot on the Citroen EC3. It is though quite a lot bigger than the boot on the Leap Motors TO3, about the same size as the Dacia Spring. So yeah, it's a decent usable space for a car of this size.
Underneath the Dolphin Surf is BYD's dedicated EV platform, packing their tough cobalt-free blade battery, which they once hammered a nail into to show just how tough it really is. So you can choose from 2 battery sizes, 30 or 42.3 kilowatt hours. The Dolphin Surf Active gets the smaller battery, and that's good for 137 miles. Boost offers the most range from the bigger battery, that's around 200 miles, whilst the range topping Comfort sees a drop from that to 193 miles thanks to a more powerful motor. But the figure that really caught my eye is that you can get as much as 315 miles out of that larger battery if you're just zipping around town in warmer weather. Given that we drive on average 20 miles a day in the UK, that's potentially a couple of weeks driving on a single charge. Now, it's a bit early to talk about efficiency given that our test wasn't over several days but was just a couple of hours in the centre of Rome, so we'll report back when we have it for longer in the UK. This video is brought to you with Andersen EV, the UK's most awarded home charge point brand of 2024, offering over 200 colour and finish options, a market-leading 7-year warranty and a unique hidden tethered cable.
Poor Manos is not loving this. He's not loving life. You're not loving life, are you, Manos?
I'm just thinking of the edit.
He's thinking of the edit. So if you're watching this now and you can see that I'm driving along really busy city streets and then we're cutting to shots of the car on completely deserted streets, it's because all of that footage was shot at like 5 a.m. in the morning when there were no cars around. So that's why none of it cuts together, just in case you were wondering. So this is the range-topping Comfort version with a 43.2 kilowatt-hour battery, and it's paired with the most powerful motor in its class, so that means 0 to 60 takes around 9 seconds. It's far nippier than any of the competition. If you go for the entry-level model, the Active, that gets the smaller 30 kilowatt hour battery paired with a 65 kilowatt hour motor. A bit more sedate, 0 to 60 takes around 11 seconds. And Boost is the mid-range, but it's also the version with the longest range. It's got the same motor, but it actually has 200 miles of range. Now, my advice would be to not bother with this top of the range comfort with the extra power. I don't think you need it, and I think in terms of price you're going to be hitting entry-level Hyundai Insta and Renault 5. I reckon the one to go for is the mid-range, the Boost. It's got that extra range, 200 miles, which makes it really usable. Now, what you want from a small car like this that's going to spend a lot of time in a city like Rome is three things. You want it to be nippy and darty, plenty of power, which this has got. You want the steering to be light, and you want it to react quickly, again, so you can dive out of the way of cars that are coming from side streets or randomly here in Rome, just, moving lanes in front of you. And the steering is that, it's nice and sharp, reacts immediately. And you also want the brakes to be good. Now, this is where I wish there was a little bit more feel. So the brakes just seem to take a beat to kick in. I just wish they were a bit sharper. So we've got three driving modes. We've got Sport, Normal Mode and Eco. Not surprisingly, I'm driving it mainly in eco mode around town, and that kicks in the maximum level of brake regeneration, which is all right. It's not amazing. So if here's some traffic, so I'm going to come to a standstill. It's not going to bring you to a complete stop, so you do then need to just apply the foot brake to bring you to a standstill. So I kind of wish they'd made a bit more of regen. I think it really suits smaller cars driven around town like this. Now, I would absolutely love to tell you what it feels like on the motorway or on faster A roads, because let's face it, we don't only own cars like this in cities. That concept of city car doesn't exist. But I can't, because we're in Rome, and I don't know if I've mentioned it's the most congested city in the world. So we'll do that at a later date. I would imagine though, because this does feel quite peppy, that it's going to have decent pickup on the motorway as well. But it's a bit of guesswork there, so we'll drive it in the UK and we'll take it on the motorway and we'll let you know then, because I think I'm going again. There's the Colosseum. This is what you could have had as your backdrop. Instead, thanks to Manos, we got a lay-by and some graffiti.
The maximum DC charging rate is 65 kilowatts for the entry-level Active version with the smaller battery. That increases to 85 kilowatts in the Boost and Comfort grades. Not quite as fast as the 100 kilowatts on offer in the Citroën, but way faster than the Leap TO3 and Dacia Spring. AC charging is 11 kilowatts, and all versions also come with vehicle to load, a handy piece of kit you have to pay extra for on other cars. When it comes to warranties, you get a 6-year manufacturer's warranty and 8 years for the battery and electric motor.
And we're ending with an ocean of surfs. And look, there is no doubt that the Dolphin Surf is a really good urban car. I'm impressed by the levels of equipment on it. The drive is absolutely fine. It feels more of a car than rivals like the Leap TO3, for example. The quality feels better than the Dacia Spring. Ultimately, it all comes down to price. Now, that smaller battery version is going to come in at £18,000 in the UK, which I think actually makes it pretty competitive. What I'm more concerned about is the larger battery version. We haven't got final pricing on that. We know it's going to be over 20,000. It just depends on how far that gets pushed towards the entry-level Hyundai Insta or the entry-level Renault 5 before we can really make judgment on it. But once again, it all depends on those monthly payments, and it's a while before we know that. Once we do, we will be able to tell you if the BYD Dolphin Surf will be making waves or not.